All right, how's it going? I don't know if anyone's even watching, but I'm just going to go ahead and start working on some stuff. Nice. There we go. Lagging my whole computer. All right. Working on a little game, you know? Just going to keep on trying to add features to it. I'm going to go to my to-do list and just look through. What's up, Hamza? Malahi? You know, I noticed I don't have my Twitch alerts set up anymore. I don't know what I did. I think I turned them off or something. All right, so I want to look through this list of things and try to figure out what I could potentially work on. We got some bugs. Health bar needs to be attached to the player group. Okay. I might do this one. I'm going to highlight it so we know that this is the one we're working on. But if I show you the health bar as I walk, it like moves to the left. And that's because I'm not interpolating. Like I would need to add like some type of group, some player groups or something. So let's try to figure that out. That's in the client. So if I go open up the player in the client, what's up, world best? If I want to interpolate the health bar too, I don't even remember how I did the interpolation. By the way, I promise I'm going to make Next.js stuff again. I just wanted to do a little bit of game dev, you know, change it up. So don't worry, y'all. I'll go back to Next.js content soon. I don't even know how the interpolation's happening. You know how when you like write code, but then you don't remember like what you wrote? That's what's going on right here. Okay, we got the client. Where's the update happening? Can't type update. Okay, here we go. All this code is such a hot mess. Like, I put no design into what I'm doing. I'm just letting it organically grow, and it's turning into a hot mess. But, okay, I need to find out where we are doing interpolation. I think it's here where we do this lerp factor thing. I'm using Clack app. It's a virtualized keyboard on my Mac. It just plays noises when I type. Okay, so when I render the player, we're in this render function. And what this needs to do is it moves the player slowly towards the target that it should be at, right? The target position is like the server coordinates. But we don't want to just snap the player directly to where it is on the server because that would just look bad, right? So we kind of slowly interpolate using a lerp. I think it's called I don't know what lerp stands for, honestly, but I'm sure it's an acronym for something. But I think we need to do a similar approach to the health bar, or somehow figure out a way to group these all together. Last render position.x, render position, health bar. I think what needs to happen is my draw health bar, right now it takes in a positionable, get position. And instead, I think I could just give it a position. Like that. And then I could just get rid of get position, and we should be good. Now to use it, I'll pass in the render position. Because the render position is the actual, like, interpolated position, right? So that change probably will break a bunch of stuff. Hey, that fixed it though. Look at that. Health bar is now attached correctly to the player. But now the zombie doesn't actually have a health bar anymore because we refactored an interface and we had to find all the places where it was used previously and kind of refactor that. So good old F in F12 will show you all the places it's used. I like to also just like click and do a full project search for where it's being evoked. Like a lazy way to do it. So it looks like the wall and the zombie are the only things that show the health bar. So the wall, I mean, we could simply just say this dot get position, and then we're done with that one. That should fix it. And then the zombie should be render position, and we're done. All right, so now all these things should properly render out. How do you craft again? Crafting is space. No, wait, what's craft menu? Harvest, craft, queue. Okay, one thing I don't like is that after you craft an item, the crafting menu stays open. Also, I need to like understand the code for the crafting menu. I think once you craft your item, it would make more sense if there's only one. Yeah, I could probably stream on Twitter at some point. Let's see. Also, I don't like how you can move when you're crafting. Okay, so I think we fixed this to do. Health bar. Good stuff. What else can we do? Yeah, so like... All right, the player shouldn't be able to move when crafting. Let's figure that out. So the crafting menu, I don't know how that works. Because I didn't write it. I think he called it crafting table. A lot of code here, and what we kind of want to do in the crafting table is, first of all, why are there so many duplicate recipes? Recipes, where's that coming from? Okay, so get rid of that, refresh. And now let's go to the player entity. I need to stop movement if you're currently crafting. But I don't know how. Let's see. All right, what am I doing? My player shouldn't be able to move. So I'm trying to look through the input manager, which lives on the client side of things. And when I press Q, that opens up the crafting menu, which calls an onCraft function, which was passed in, I think, from the client. So if I find onCraft, you know what? Why am I doing this? I could just simply go. Actually, I don't know. I don't know if I'll be able to get this. Let's see. Input manager. Okay, there we go. OnCraft. Toggle the crafting table. So the crafting table has a boolean to know if it's open, visible. And I think what we could do is use the isVisible function that's on here and prevent the player from moving. So the player somehow needs to get access. Let me make some notes. In order to disable the player from moving, the player entity needs to know if the crafting menu is open. Okay, so that's kind of like what we're doing. And I will just go ahead and wrap that so I can look at it. So that's what we're working on. All right. So the player, where's the constructor? Let's go to the constructor. This is, oh, we're on the wrong player. I need to go to the client player, find the constructor there. And then I need to, we have the asset manager, we have the input manager. I need to consolidate these all into like a single thing, so it makes it a little bit easier to manage this. Let me think about this. I know regardless, I need this thing to have a reference to the crafting table. And you could do like a singleton pattern or like some type of like, what is it, like IOC container or something. Kind of just like doing dependency injection through constructors. But if we have a reference to the crafting table, what we can do you know what? Actually, I do not want to change this. The backend, I think crafting is a front end only thing until you actually pick a recipe. Hey, how's it going, Samuel? It's good, you know, learning some new stuff, playing around with Python, Django. Mainly just been doing a ton of DevOps stuff to just get everything set up and deploy when we like push to a branch. But it's a nice change from the other project. It's a lot smaller scale. I mean, it's like a brand new project, so we're starting from scratch. So it's less stressful. The other project had like probably 600,000 lines of code. It was just a lot. But I learned a lot from being on that previous project. So thanks for asking, though. Welcome to the stream. What's up, Raz? Mick, how you doing? What are you working on these days? I'm also trying to not use AI as much, just to force myself to think a little bit. I could probably like ask AI to help me implement this, but sometimes it's fun just to figure it out yourself. Because if you just get carried away with doing too much AI stuff, you slowly learn, or you slowly don't understand how like your project works. I think we call that intellectual control of your project. You do not have intellectual control if you don't understand the code because it's being written by AI or somebody else, right? Okay, so I think we could just hack this. I mean, on the front end, when the crafting menu is open, we could just prevent some of these other things. So like, I'm trying to figure out where update direction, inputs facing determine direction. If changed, okay. Wait, what is this doing? Oh, has changed. Okay, I see. The part of the game I'm working on is when you craft, like you're still able to move left and right. I would kind of rather disable your ability to move completely. And then like maybe show a different sprite or something just to designate that you're currently like looking through your inventory, you're crafting or something. I don't know. Maybe it's not good, but sometimes you don't know if a game mechanic will be good until you implement it. But I honestly don't remember how this code works. Okay, so we have event listeners that set the inputs, and then we have this input manager, which is used on the client. So if I find the input manager, here it is. And I think, okay, I think I understand now. The player is going to move on the back end. Just a matter of like, where do I want to put this logic, you know? Sometimes it pays off to just slow down and think before you implement some code. And like try to make sure you truly understand how all the pieces are connected before you start changing stuff. Because when I press Q, that doesn't change the inputs at all. And the thing that allows the player to move happens on the back end. On the front end, we send over inputs for moving. So I wonder if we go back to the input manager, I could potentially not allow a user to send these inputs over if they're currently crafting. Or I could just send over an input to the backend so the backend knows that we're crafting. And if I want to have the state sync up, like if I do end up wanting to have like some type of new animation for someone who's crafting, like maybe it could just, he could be like crouched or something. I don't know. Because like if you're playing with other people, when you craft, it kind of gives the zombies an advantage to attack you. So you need to make sure you're in a safe place before you start trying to craft. I think it would just make the mechanics a little bit better. Okay, so I think I think I know what I want to do. I need to say this .inputs.crafting is true. I need to go here and say crafting is false. And we're just going to play around with this to see if it works. I'm going to use AI for the boilerplate stuff. Okay, so crafting. And then on key up. Oh, is this a toggle function? This must toggle. Uncraft is, yeah, it toggles it. Maybe in the event listener, like send the input to another function entirely when the craft menu is open. I almost rather do it here. Like toggling could take in the input manager and then send off a event. Bro, I don't know what I'm doing. I think I should commit my health bar changes before I make too many changes though, because I have a feeling I'm going to ruin this code. Like, I'm going to break everything. I think we could also just do one-off events instead of like having this event inputs thing that gets sent over all the time. I think we could potentially do one-off events. But for right now, let's see, is everything good? Let me, what's this thing complaining about? Oh, did it, okay. Is that happy now? Okay. Yeah, let's just commit this real quick. I'm gonna say getting the health bar to correctly display when player moves. Whereas Mickey, a lot of work and freelance stuff, actually doing some Django work right now. Bro, I'm deep down not a fan of AI as a developer. Cool for non-techies. Yeah, I can't agree with you on that one. I think like AI has made some parts of developing so much easier. Like especially for DevOps work, bro. Like you just generate me some Terraform code, boom, it just gives you everything you need. You don't have to go look at the docs and go read through all these scroll and read through and try to figure out the inputs and the outputs of modules. It's just like it just does it for you. And then you can come through and just fix stuff up. Right now we are sending inputs only when they change. So we do some type of like delta compression and like only send changed events. But again, this whole thing is like a prototype. It's just awful code because I don't know how to do game dev. So you can't expect me to make elegant code when I never really made a system in game dev before. But I think what we could do is just send off an event to the backend saying like, we are crafting or we're not crafting. Because the inputs, yeah, I don't know. The inputs are kind of like one-off things. Socket manager. All right, let's look at the server socket manager. On craft request. So like we already have like this idea of when you want to craft an item, we send off like one little event. And we have, like we could do this, like when we get a start crafting event, we could say on start crafting, socket and recipe. We'll figure this out. And by we, I mean me. I'll figure it out. This on craft request. Okay, so we have methods here, craft recipe. I want to get the player and then I want to basically say, on the player itself, I think we need to add like a new thing called private is crafting, set it to false. And then we need to be able to, here's my serialize function. On crafting start, get the player, set him as crafting. That should set the player entity, and so it will be crafting. And then I could actually go into the player on the back end and the update function. We could basically say handle attack, handle movement, handle interact, handle drop. We don't want them to be able to do any of this stuff, I don't think. I think I might just do this. Like if we're crafting, just return. What is this active item? Okay, I think we're making some progress. It's slowly coming to me now. So on the the front end, I got to figure out like where we're sending off this craft request. So that's coming from client. There we go. Send start crafting, and then I got to figure out what should I call this. So this is the socket manager. It has a method we can just call, but then we need to call it from the input manager when this thing toggles. And this thing is going from somewhere else. I think that's good. And then if the player is crafting, I'm going to go ahead and just put this here too, so that we have access to it. If the player is crafting, we need to just render something a little bit different. Like we could just have some icon over their head maybe. Maybe that's a good idea. So the icon right now, like I'm just going to draw some text. I'll hitbox. But what do I want to do for, I'll just do like a C dot for right now. Look at that C. Okay, it's kind of working. So like, I honestly don't know why it's printing out a giant C. Hold on. There we go. Only do it if we're crafting. And then when I press Q, I can't move. I'm stuck. I think we're kind of getting it. But then we need to do the inverse, right? When this thing is toggled off, technically I could put this logic inside the toggle function, but then the crafting table would need access to the socket manager. And then I had to just like pass stuff around through the constructor. But whatever, we'll just do this. Yeah. On start crafting, on stop crafting. I could probably make this a more generic function. This seems very duplicative. Private set player crafting. I'll do this. But then we want the player ID. I'll just do like the socket like this. Get the player, and then I'm just going to basically set it to whatever's being passed in. Now I can get rid of these two functions, hopefully, and then I can use them here and here. Player is possibly null, okay. Actually, I kind of rather do an early return. Look at that. Can't move. This red arrow, I just don't think it's very useful in this game. Might get rid of it. So how does the red arrow render out? You know what? Before I do more stuff, I think this is good. Should I commit it? One piece of advice I give you is you should do small commits frequently. because you get carried away, you start changing code, and then like the code you change is actually breaking the feature you just added. And then you have to go and figure out, okay, how do I revert those things I just did because I didn't commit? Get into the habit of after you fix a bug, no matter how small it is, or after you add a little feature, no matter how small it is, commit. Although I don't want to commit this. I think this is really bad. This field text stuff. What's a better way I can denote the player's crafting? What's up, Silk Thread? Oto, junior developer, currently worked with React, 2 years experience. I have built a client AES system. Been in prod for a year now. Big users. They are happy. I really want to get better. Any tips? I graduate soon. I don't know. Just keep getting opportunities where you build cool stuff. I don't even know what an ATS system is. What is that? Like a home security system? Applicant tracking system. Okay, that sounds fun. Samuel, you are a genius. You are a genius. Full emoji. Don't mind if I do get a hammer and a wrench. Would that draw to the canvas though? I wonder if it has support for stuff like that. Oh, look at that. Dang. Oh, and I can craft when I'm dead. That's probably not good, right? So I need to definitely... I like the wrench better. You were right the whole time. Yeah, so now I just need to make it smaller, and then I need to put it over its head. And sometimes, like, it's teeny. You see that? Like, what the heck? It's large when I'm not hovering over a interactable thing. Why? Changing the order in the function, I think, will solve it. Changing the order. I think I know what's going on. I think... Do I call it a tree? I bet you I am applying a context change to the canvas or whatever. I'm a TS developer, and I've recently become interested in implementing server clients for protocols like HTTP, IRC, and WebSocket. Next on my list is to try some game dev. Yeah, game dev's pretty fun. I mean, maybe I'm just saying that because I haven't really done it much. So it's something new and exciting. It's really fun learning how all these things work. I do agree. Pawix. Bro, thank you so much for your schematic videos. You are breaking up complex topics. Yeah. Glad you guys find it useful. In the if dead check. Oh, I see what you mean. The is dead check. I don't want the arrow. Let's just get rid of the arrow. Die, zombie. It's kind of hard to know. There's not a difference in the player sprite when he's either right or down. It's very hard to tell which way he's facing. So instead of an arrow, what I actually might do is put a teeny little arrow. Let me undo what I did. I know I'm jumping off to another thing, but sometimes when you're coding, if you find like a small little thing you can do along the way, why not just, fix it? If I could just always have this arrow displayed, and I could make it kind of give it some opacity. Render arrow. What's this doing? Line width. Let's play around with this and see. Okay. Yeah, make it white. I think that might be a better idea. Okay, so I have, I'll say like const arrow color is white. It's like, I don't want this. Let me get rid of that. Perfect. That's all I wanted. That's good. And then if I can keep it, should I keep it displayed, do you guys think? The only reason I'm thinking about keeping it displayed is because you can drop items and they will be dropped in front of you based on your facing direction. And so I think like having the arrow displayed at all times might be useful because I'm gonna try it, What does it hurt to try something? Because you can just delete it if it doesn't work. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take out that check. Wait, why is it not? I thought I have it. Did I not save? Why would this not always be displayed? Okay, hold on. If we're not dead, render the arrow. Get the direction of our velocity. That's probably the issue. I think this player has like a facing. Last render position. Might be harder than I thought. Facing, input manager, get. Oh yeah, I could just do this. What is facing anyway? It's a direction. And so get normalize direction. Yeah, buddy, there we go. Okay, that's pretty cool. I'm going to commit this. We made some progress. Is crafting. Then start crafting. Okay, yeah, let's add it all. I'm going to say added prevent player movement when crafting. Always display facing arrow. Player shouldn't be able to move when crafting. A player shouldn't be able to open the crafting menu when he's dead. Also close it if they are crafting when dying. Or if they die when crafting. Right now I can open it. And I gotta fix that icon size. Fix the size of the wrench icon. Figure out why the wrench icon becomes small when near a tree. It's a mess, man. You can use the air to show. Yeah. Okay, which one do I want to do first? I'm gonna let him kill me. I'm gonna do that one. When I die, the craft menu should close. When I die, the craft menu should close. I can just go in the player, and then when they get damaged, did I do it here? If health, that'll auto close it, I think. So this is only going to remove the icon. This will only remove the wrench icon above my head. But it's not going to close my client HUD that's open. Because those are two different state variables. They're not shared. But I don't know if I'm dead on the client side until the server sends the event saying that, hey, I just got killed by a zombie. So I think maybe we should just have the kind of like treat it like React state or view state, where it's like the crafting boolean is what determines if you're crafting HUD. I think we call it the crafting table. Visible. I feel like this shouldn't live here. This should be hooked into the player. That's a tricky one. Get inventory. Let me try this. It's entity by ID. Get the player ID. If the player ID exists, then we're going to get the player client. This can go over here. We can go ahead and say get player. Okay. Think. What am I doing? So now that we have the ability to get the player that we are currently looking at on my laptop, right? Because there's going to be multiple players on a map, and you need to know which one you need to kind of follow around with the camera and control. So I'm just going to pass it in for right now. And then is visible. Why is crafting not showing up there? I think that's why. The player exists and we're crafting. Go ahead and show it. So then if I remove it from here, toggle. Active recipe is 0. I think I'm going to get rid of that. Okay, so if I press Q, it's going to call onCraft. OnCraft comes from here, which is going to toggle the crafting table. Oh, I see. If it is... This needs to be like refactored, but I might swap these. If it's visible, send stop crafting. How did that work before? That's interesting. I think it's because the state used to live in the client, but then I moved it. So let's try this. Yeah. Boom. Awesome. What stack are you using for this? Looks good. This is just vanilla JavaScript, and it's being posted in an XJS application, although like nothing you see on this screen, it's all canvas. So it's this HTML5 canvas, and then the backend is using just a Node.js server. And that's it. Trying to make my own little framework. What am I using for multiplayer? It's just a socket IO, just using client server sockets. On craft. I can still change my direction when I'm crafting though. That's kind of weird. So I think we have to like fix that. I'm trying to think where that might live. Input the backend. Got input. Yeah, the issue is that this thing allows you to change directions. Wait. What is this doing? On up. On up. On down. Okay. Yeah, it's kind of weird. I don't know. On up is doing what? Oh, this is okay. This is just poorly named. On up. But then it checks. I think this should be like called on craft select up. Instead of on down and on up, like I think that's what we should probably call it. Yeah, this, okay, I gotta figure out a better solution for this. If you press W, I feel like I should say if we are currently crafting yeah, this, I think there needs to be some refactoring here. When you get to like a class and like you're trying to implement something and it's just like you're hitting friction, it's almost like you know that's a sign that something needs to be changed up. Because there's like this method on craft select up that we call, which handles the crafting stuff, but then it returns, it like returns true or something. to tell you if the crafting table is visible. This not crafting table. Okay, you know what? Actually, I think this should actually say on up. Let me undo. I have an idea. This dot inputs. I think this should take in maybe inputs. I'm stuck. I don't know what I'm doing. But this thing should just call a method. Like we just press W, we're abstracting away the key bindings from what the actual thing is happening in the game. And so like, although we press W, this, I would say this class shouldn't know about the game at all. All it should do is just like tell you that, hey, yes, up was pressed. But this needs to change the inputs. I don't know. I think so. Could you call the craft off key event when the player dies? Yeah, I mean that's a possibility, I think. But I think what I'm trying to do, which I'm having a hard time wrapping my head around what I want to actually do, is I want to call on up. And on up needs to figure out if you are currently crafting, then like you shouldn't change inputs at all. But now it's like I'm passing a reference to an object. And this thing is changing it. I don't even know why we're doing direction up here. We don't do it anywhere else. That's kind of weird too. And on up, I don't need it to return a Boolean anymore. Like that was kind of... with on down. Like why are these returning trues? All right, where's down? Should be S. Okay, here it is, on down. So I'm just gonna say on down, pass in the inputs. We're gonna do something similar. Here will be inputs, input. And we'll do this. We're gonna go ahead and just manually set the inputs. How is this not equal to void? Void is not assignable to type. Nothing void. Oh, I see. I see. I'm not happy with this. I don't like the idea that we're passing a reference object, like an object by reference, and then something else is in charge of changing the inputs. I might as well just do this, like have an on interact. Might as well have an on right, on left. To just really finish that up. I don't know. Anyway, I have a plugin. It's called like to do. What is it called? Extensions. Oh, to do highlight. That's how we highlight it. All right, I don't know. I think I'm getting off on a tangent refactor. I don't know if we really need this refactored right now. I also don't remember what code I just changed. Okay, so everything still works. Oh, we're trying to fix that issue. Where like, if the crafting menu is open, I need to do a hard refresh, I think. No. Come on. Oh, the reason, okay, I know why. That's okay, definitely. I'm gonna do this. This is gonna be called methods option. Yeah, I don't know if that's gonna break something, but let's try it out. Why is this still working? What's up, Yarik 88, base 14. VS Code theme is called bearded theme stained purple. And my keyboard is, I'm using something called Clack app. Okay, that would be why those are calling it. Might as well just do on interact, whatever. Just do them all. Because we don't want to be able to interact with stuff if we're crafting, so. Whatever, we'll call on drop too. This one though, weird. On fire, and if it doesn't return something, set the inputs to let me do this, and then instead I'm going to say is visible. If it's not visible, if I think that's what he's going for, but now like we could just say callbacks dot on fire, pass it the inputs, and then up here, of course, I need to think about this stuff. I don't know if this is the right way to do this. I feel like it's a little bit cleaner now. At least this gives us the ability to like not allow the player to change its inputs based on certain criteria of the game state. Versus this one, the input manager here, I think is what it's called, input manager. This should just be a really simple class that is an abstraction behind mapping to keys and what those keys should do. In case someone has a different type of keyboard or they want to bind the right arrow to go right. I feel like there's some intermediate thing that will live here to be able to do that mapping. Like if you have a configuration screen and you want them to change what the keys do, this puts us in a good position because later on, like I could actually have a map that says callbacks. Oh, what was going on there? No. It would say callbacks, and then you could do lookup method, and then you could say event key, and then that would be a dynamic method that they can bind themselves to whatever they want, and we could just pass the inputs every time, I guess. I don't know. The whole thing of passing the inputs here feels wrong, but I've already harped on that, so let's just move on. Let's just move on. Did I fix the issue? Is this fixed yet? There. It's not allowing me to move left. I also can't pick up when I'm crafting. And I think the crafting, maybe the menu should kind of be like a Diablo 2 crafting where it's like it literally takes up your whole screen. Just to kind of give the suspense of like, I can't see what's happening underneath my screen now. So like it makes crafting a little bit more sketch. Let's make that wrench smaller since we're here. I think we're good. The wrench is here. So first of all, we should probably set a text size. You know, I think that's probably what's happening. I don't remember how to do it. The AI is taking too long. So context. It's called text size. Fill text, stroke text. Oh, it's just font. Is that how I do it everywhere else? Hold on. Yep, okay. I'll make it 4, see what happens. Yeah, I'll make it 8. I think it's good. I just need to offset it just by a little bit and then also like move it up by a little bit. Ah, look at that, first try. I'm gonna put it even higher though. I'm gonna do like a 5. So it's above the health bar. Okay, 6. Now, finishing touch, what we could do. We could make it bounce. We could make this thing bounce like we do with the weapons. I'd have to figure out how does the animation happen again. Position, animate, get the animation. Yeah, I could do this. I could say animated position is equal to animate. Started at hit position. What is this? Weapon size. Hey, look at that. You know, what if I put it on the player itself? Yeah, it's hidden. You can't really tell it's there. And it's bouncing too fast. Let's do 2K. Okay, that's pretty cool. I don't know. Is that good? It'll let everyone else know. Like if I were to join this as another player, I can see that he is. Oh, that's a weird bug. Anyway, let me commit. We made some good progress. I'm gonna go ahead and say prevent lots of interactions when crafting. Also show crafting icon above player head, which animates. That's a weird one. When you move, it seems like the other players on the screen also. That's so weird. Facing. Get with direction. Asset manager, get with direction. Player is dead down. I think this is the issue. That's not the issue. Input manager, get inputs. This is the issue. Is that when we render out players, their direction that they're facing is coming from the input manager, when this should probably live on the player itself so that everyone knows what direction players are facing. Might leave that for another day. Let's see. Yeah, I think where is it? We have too many. No, I'll just delete that one. That's fine. Close the crafting menu after making an item. Now it's getting mixed with the health bar. Yeah, I don't know where to put it. We could also just do like a... Dang, these zombies kill me fast right when I spawn. For now, I'm okay. I'm happy with it. I'm happy with it, but it's just like... Maybe another day I'll think of some better way to display, like, if someone's crafting. This one's much more important, though. This bug. The bug we're working on is... Every player faces the same direction as your player, which is a bug. I'll do that later. Close the crafting menu after making an item. Crafting. I don't even know how that was happening before. I think it happens on the back end. And we have the socket manager on the back end. On craft request. And then we call craft recipe, which lives on the player. Which is interesting. I don't know if that should live on the player. I feel like that should be like a separate thing, but so basically you find the recipe that matches the type you're trying to craft. If you haven't found it, return. And then once you find it, we replace the inventory with this. Found recipe craft. That's kind of weird. It returns like the whole... It returns like a new inventory. Anyway, I'm crafting wood. So, wall recipe, actually. Craft the recipe. So it loops through all the materials you have, and then it basically removes them, modifies the inventory, returns a new one. What am I doing? I forgot what I'm even working on right now. Close the crafting menu after making an item. Okay. That was easy. I don't know why it took me so long to figure that out. Let's try picking this up. Yo, why is the zombie still... Okay, that's a bug. The zombie's still attacking the dead player. Or maybe he's stuck on the player. He might be colliding with the player. When a player is killed by a zombie, it seems like the zombie gets stuck either on the player or thinks it still needs to attack the player. Debug this. Perfect. So open up the crafting menu, craft the item. I go back to playing the game like normal, and then I can just drop that. So like this is a much better mechanic than before, because now like you're in a bind, there's zombies chasing you. You're like, oh crap, let me get this wall going. Boom. You don't have to think about closing the menu. It just automatically closes for you. Oh, I love that. That's great. Okay. Let's yeah, let's commit that. Close the crafting menu after crafting an item. You know, don't overthink it. Just slap some methods somewhere. You know, get it working. Let your code slowly turn into a pile of garbage. But I will say, if you need to add a feature and you find out that it's literally just you add a line of code, like, isn't that a sign that your stuff is designed pretty well? But if you have to add a feature and you have to change 10 different files and all this other stuff, maybe that's a sign that you need to refactor your code a little bit. It should be very easy to extend code just by adding in new entities or adding in new functionality. Is that the open close principle that they always talk about? Probably. Well, that one's done. What's wrong one? Yeah, I kind of just focused on crafting on this stream today. A player shouldn't be able to open the craft menu when dead. Okay, let's validate that one. I'll leave the match. Okay. Okay, that one's broken. So again, how does that work? Go to the input manager. We press that. We pass on craft. We toggle the thing on, but we should say if, oh no, I have to do a lookup. I feel like this should be a helper function. I'm like copying and pasting this everywhere. This is the client. Oh, I have a Git player. Okay. Stop. If player is dead, return. Yep, fixed. Alrighty. Nice. I think we made some good progress there. Got the whole crafting section basically knocked out, and it feels just a much better. Prevent opening the crafting menu when dead. A shotgun. Boom. I will say the wrench icon is very small. It's like barely even visible. I wonder if you can still fire when we're crafting. That would be problematic. No. Oh, more crafting things. The crafting recipe should be read or grayed out if you don't have enough items to craft it. Right now, I notice that like I don't have any wood in my inventory, but it's still green. And then also pressing space. Pressing space while crafting an item you don't have enough resources to craft should not auto close the crafting menu. All right, I'm gonna call it. I'm gonna call it a night. Hope you guys enjoyed. I added some good features, and if you guys want to see this game, if you contribute to it, like, I can't guarantee you're not gonna get tons of merge conflicts all the time, because I am just pushing a bunch of code. So. JavaScript God. No, not really. I mean, there's so much more I need to learn about TypeScript. I'm just good at hacking things together. That's something I can admit that I'm pretty good at hacking stuff. I move fast and sloppy. All right, later everyone. Thanks for joining on this late night stream. And stay tuned if I do another one. Have a good day.